February is American Heart Month. Mike Papale is our guest, the founder and president of In a Heartbeat. Let's go back to 2006 and what happened with you and your story.
When I grown up, I was like a really healthy athlete. Never really had any signs or symptoms of heart disease. Never really had my heart checked other than the typical, doctor listening with a stethoscope. On August 24th, 2006, I was 17 years old. That particular day, my brother and I, we were both camp counselors at my dad's basketball camp. Walked in at 8:15, said hi to my dad, and don't remember anything else that happened that day. I was sitting on the bleachers. We had just come inside, and one of my friends was sitting next to me, and I just kind of fell forward and went into sudden cardiac arrest. When someone goes into cardiac arrest, it's very, very crucial that CPR is provided immediately and an AED is used very, very quickly. Unfortunately, in my situation, there was no CPR started right away. A lot of people froze. People didn't know what to do, and there was no AED in the building. So thankfully, there was a volunteer EMT next door. He got the call on his pager and came over and found me and did really high-quality CPR until an ambulance came, and they used a defibrillator to shock my heart back to a normal rhythm. Without that guy, I wouldn't have made it. Without the ambulance coming with the defibrillator, I wouldn't have made it. Was eventually diagnosed with a heart disease. It's called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and it's just a disease I was living with and a disease I was born with. I just didn't know I had it. It's a really interesting disease. It's just very important that it's detected, hopefully, prior to someone being in a situation where, they need an AED to save them.
Mike Papale is our guest. It's called In a Heartbeat. Can you tell me more about what you do and what the idea is behind this foundation?
Yeah, so we started it in 2015 and have grown it. And really now we have two primary goals, right? The mission is to prevent death from sudden cardiac arrest. Feel that the best way to do that is from a primary perspective and a secondary perspective. So primary is detecting these heart diseases in somebody before they're in a situation where, they need CPR and an AED to save their life. So that's our cardiac screening program. And what that does is it provides free electrocardiograms, or EKGs, to children, teens, and young adults. So right now, young people do not receive EKGs as part of their, annual physical at a doctor's office, for the most part. Some might do it, but it's rare. A lot of these diseases, not all of them, are detectable with an EKG. The reality is that you're never going to detect everything. You're never going to detect everything. And you're also going to have situations in Buffalo with Damar Hamlin, and Commotio cordis. That's not a condition. That's something that's caused by a hit to the chest. That's secondary prevention. That's our AED donation program. And that's making sure that AEDs are everywhere, on the sidelines, in office buildings, outside at parks, outside at fields. So we donate AEDs to people in need. We've donated 331 of them so far to date. We really just, believe they should be everywhere, and we believe that more people need to understand how simple they are to use.
We're talking to Mike Papale this morning, a sudden cardiac arrest survivor. You mentioned Damar, obviously a very big name here in Buffalo and now worldwide. Have you had a chance to sit down with him or learn from his experience at all?
I've never met him. I've talked to some people that work with him and on his team, and I've been in rooms with him where he's spoken, and he's just done such a great job. I went through this, and I didn't have the whole world watching me, and he did. I think the number's like 24.5 million watched it live, and, obviously then you have the people that heard about it and watched it after, saw it on the news, and he had the whole world watching him. And the way he's handled it's been incredible. It's just past the 1-year anniversary, and what he's done in 1 year is remarkable, to see the strength and to make an impact, and he's just going to continue to do that. It's a horrible, horrible thing that happened to him, and you never want anyone to have to go through that. But a lot of good has obviously come from it, and he's done an incredible job spreading awareness.
You can go to inaheartbeat.org to find out more about what we're talking about today. Mike, for people listening this morning or reading the story on our website, what's your advice? What's the message here? What can we do to help you and your foundation?
Is just ask, if you're a parent, ask questions. Ask your kid's school, about their AEDs. Ask them about their emergency action plan. If your kid plays youth sports, right? Make sure that there's an AED on the sideline. Have the conversation with your pediatrician about getting an EKG. I think for us, I think just the more awareness we can spread, the better. And most importantly, making sure people understand that just by doing chest compressions, by getting an AED and turning it on, anybody can help save someone's life.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time today, man. And thanks for being flexible.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.